One of the most insidious patterns of narcissistic behavior is the manipulation of reality itself. Narcissists are not merely dishonest in obvious ways. Their relationship with truth is fluid, adaptive, and subtle. They rewrite events, recast intentions, and reinterpret interactions to maintain control. This is often not a conscious strategy, but a deeply ingrained survival mechanism formed early in life. Their sense of self is built on unstable ground, shaped by childhood environments marked by emotional neglect, inconsistency, or criticism. They learn to manipulate perception first to navigate unsafe relationships, later to assert dominance. The impact is profound. You may feel certain about a conversation, only to have the narcissist reframe it, leaving you to doubt yourself. They may insist something you clearly remember never happened, or that your interpretation is overly dramatic. Over time, this repeated distortion erodes your confidence. You begin to trust their version of events more than your own. This is gaslighting in its most subtle form. A systematic undermining of your sense of reality, designed to make you dependent on the narcissist for validation and clarity. This manipulation extends to narratives about morality and social perception. Narcissists cast themselves as the victim, hero, or morally upright party. Even when their actions contradict these roles, they skillfully craft stories that evoke sympathy or guilt. Friends or family without full context may be swayed, further isolating the targeted individual. In this way, the narcissist controls not only the immediate emotional environment but also the broader social narrative, protecting their fragile self while undermining yours. This pattern reveals a fundamental tension between relational authenticity and performance. Narcissists are anchored in image and control rather than genuine engagement. Their presence is strategic, aimed at sustaining self-perception and extracting validation. For those who encounter them, the effect is destabilizing. You may sense the absence of genuine care even in affectionate moments. Feel the futility of appealing to fairness, and recognize that trust based on reciprocity is impossible. Understanding this allows a shift from frustration and self-blame to clarity and boundary setting. It is not about condemning the narcissist, but about recognizing the structural limits of the relationship and protecting your own emotional integrity. By understanding the transactional nature of these interactions, we reclaim the power to choose whom we allow into our emotional world, and under what conditions. A key sign of narcissism is this inability to take accountability paired with a lack of emotional depth. Beneath the charm lies avoidance. Responsibility is rarely acknowledged, mistakes are shifted onto others, and dynamics consistently serve the narcissist's self-interest. This creates a persistent sense of imbalance, frustration, and exhaustion, as if the relationship is a game where the rules constantly change to favor them. Psychologically, this avoidance is a deeply ingrained defense mechanism. Narcissists construct an identity based on perfection and superiority. Any admission of fault threatens this architecture. Many grew up in environments where emotional safety was conditional and mistakes were met with harsh judgment. To survive, they learned to project competence and deflect blame, making accountability psychologically intolerable. The result is a relational style where they are rarely wrong, their perspective is paramount, and emotional labor is shifted onto others. This lack of accountability is tied to a deficit in emotional depth. While narcissists can recognize emotions, their engagement is instrumental. They may use empathy strategically to manipulate or gain favor, but they rarely experience mutual vulnerability. Relationships are approached transactionally: attention for admiration, support contingent on gain, trust conditional on maintaining their image. For those in their orbit, this creates a constant erosion of security. Over time, it becomes clear that emotional reciprocity is absent. This pattern illustrates a deeper truth: authenticity and accountability are inseparable from connection. Narcissists, by prioritizing image over substance and control over honesty, create an environment where genuine connection cannot exist. The relational depth is missing, leaving others disoriented and frustrated. You may feel the weight of unacknowledged slights, the futility of reasoning, and the paradox of being close to someone yet profoundly distant. Recognizing this is crucial. It allows us to separate expectations from the narcissist's capacities, to see that the challenges are not our fault, and to understand that no amount of emotional labor will generate accountability where it is absent. This equips us to protect our boundaries, prioritize relationships with mutual respect, and cultivate clarity about our influence over another's behavior. Ultimately, interacting with someone who lacks accountability and emotional depth teaches that authenticity cannot be imposed, connection cannot be one-sided, and self-preservation sometimes requires stepping back from relationships that cannot honor your reality.